Hi guys, my name is Nonima Digela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today let's talk about how the Senzo Meyiwa case, how the Senzo Meyiwa murder case, the witnesses, the pool of state witnesses became infected with everything that happened there. This case did not evolve or organically. It converged artificially. There was contamination, flawed top down, side to side, and back again until independent witnesses ceased to exist. That was the core concept of the case. Okay, so we are going to do a map. Let's do a map of origin of the dominant narrative, and then also amplifier, node, repeats plus reshapes of the narratives. That's what we are going to look at. And also adapter node, where alters version to survive contradictions. We're going to look at that also. And then also look at dead zones, evidence ignored or suppressed, to make sure that everything is what they wanted to become. Arrows show direction to this or to that. I'm going to tell you everything where it shows now. This is where it was infected, not the truth. Okay, let's get into that business right now. So this is the step-by-step of that contamination map. Number one, node number one, when it comes to this, Brigadier Bonagane Gininda, his role was narrative architect. That's what he is in this case. And his function, central distributor of the theory. He arrived late in the investigation. He inherited a preferred intruder narrative. He treated it as a settled fact. And he used interviews, clarifications, and confessions to standardized versions. Infection flow. Let's go outward now. Okay, let's go down. Node number two, confession witnesses. They were grouped in a certain group and in a certain pattern. Okay, role, the narrative amplifiers are the ones that were busy with this. A function, give the theory the weight it deserves according to them. And the characteristics in the multiple confessions, you see that mutual inconsistency, shift over time, adjusted after police engagement. And one critical failure that you can note there is that instead of confessions being tested against evidence, evidence was bent to rescue confessions. I don't know if it makes sense now, guys, but these are the things that happened when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa investigation via Gininda's leadership. Okay, confession details leak into what? Let's check into that. Node number three, inside the house witnesses. Let's look at them. Number one, Tumelo Madlala. Early versions, chaotic and uncertain. Later versions, cleaner and aligned with the intruder story. Memory improves after exposure to police theory. That is what Tumelo became. Second person, Uzandile Khumalo. Version evolves with prosecution needs. Note that. Please note that. Selective amnesia, where contradictions arise, she will go like, I don't remember. Testimony increasingly mirrors charges, charge sheet language. Do you understand? Testimony Kazandile increasingly mirrors charge sheet language. So she was someone who was used to make sure whatever she said, it needs to go with the charge sheet. I don't know if you guys noticed that. You better have, or you must think back. Number four, Ulongwe Twala. Initially, he was peripheral. Later, he was positioned strategically. When I say strategical, by all means necessary, they had to remove Ulongwe in the mix. But that alone is suspicious. That alone. Silence and gaps filled by police-led framing. Ulongwe, other people are speaking on his behalf, not himself. Not himself, other people are speaking for him. Okay? And then what does that mean? This is the contamination moment. Independent eyewitnesses begin speaking the same language, despite different positions, perspectives, and incentives. That is forensically impossible without coordination. So someone or people were busy coordinating. Okay, lesi statement sizasibeka kaso, lesi statement. Bebe busy, guys. Oh, my dear, bebe busy kakhulu, bebe busy, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. And then we had the feedback loop, the most dangerous part of it all. Inside witnesses' updated versions are then fed back to investigators, then used to confirm confessions, also reused to justify the arrest, and also reintroduced to witnesses as what others say. I don't know if Nyanbamba now, but these are the things that happened there. Kininda, we see you, sir. We see what you tried to do there, but we see right through you. I don't know if now you catch the drift. And then we had also a closed loop contamination. At this point, no witness is independent. Akho umuntu uzimele geqa wenza into yakhe uthetha into ayikhumbulayo okanye into ayaziyo okanye wayeyibonile. Wonke umuntu kukho some form of coaching enukayo eyenzekileyo. And then no version is pure. Hayi ke leyo into iclear. If icace gca okwempundizo ebhokhwe sana, icace gca okomvembhokhwe umva wembuzi, icace okwempunduze okwezinqa zembuzi ukuthi akekho nje umuntu oclean pha othetha into ecacileyo, akekho. And also no testimony can corroborate another. Bayaphikisana bonke abantu ebebeze kwi-evidence box, bayaphikisana okanye kukho into abayishiyelelayo. Okay, especially abantu ababesendlini namapolisa. Namapolisa inintsi nje into eyenzekayo, guys, inintsi into eyenzekayo. And then we have dead zones where truth should have spoken. Uyabo, masithethe nge-dead zones ke ngoku. These areas should have broken the loop. Instead, they were ignored intentionally, in my view, so that the narrative intruder can gain trust, can gain traction, can gain momentum as out, yeah, there were people that entered the house. These areas would have helped solve this Senzo case. Number one, ballistics. Shooter positioning was unresolved, it still is. Fatal trajectory, unexplained. No reconciliation with witness placement, none whatsoever. And then cell phone data, timelines not matched to movement, calls, messages not integrated into narrative. There's a lot of things ezingayenzi sense. And then house reconstruction, no full spatial reenactment. Reenactment. No time motion analysis, no stress response modeling. So inintsi nje into eqhubekayo phayana eyenza uba kubekho imibuzo kakhulu. Why all of this? Because each of these would fracture the intruder theory and expose inside inconsistencies. That is the problem that they are facing. Now, uGininda theory, confessions is unstable. uGininda theory nje into azanayo, and then confessions is unstable. Inside witnesses, adaptation towards theory. Charge sheet, language yayo nje and then the arrest nazo inintsi nje into eqhubeka nge-arrest. Witness refreshing yenye nje into eyimesi phayana, and back to confessions uphasala kayo yonke into because akho nto ihlanganayo. So in a nutshell, this is not corroboration, it is circulation, and it's not the blood flow of circulation kind of vibes. It's not, absolutely not. And once a proper court deals with this, here is what's going to happen, legal consequence, and it's very critical. Once contamination is shown, corroboration collapses, probative value drops to zero, confessions become unsafe, eyewitness evidence becomes tainted, entire state case becomes constitutionally infected. Now, on appeal, This map alone supports exclusion of evidence, setting aside convictions, declaration of investigative unfairness. Period. Ayikho nje into uGinindaba nomisa ngayo when it comes to the entire situation. Ayikho nje. Now, when you are sitting wherever you are sitting, when you are listening to me talking about this, what are your thoughts when it comes to this entire investigation? Le map engqobo kwenzele yona ikwenza ucinge ntoni, ikwenza uqonda kwenzeka noqhubeka ntoni ba, what happened there? What are your thoughts? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye bye.